Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Boston University. I'd like to take a moment to thank everyone for their flexibility this year, and I hope everyone is doing well. My name is Wyeth Howard, and I'm from BU Financial Assistance. This presentation is Talking Real Money, and tonight we're going to go over the information and resources available for planning around your expenses while at BU. I'm joined here tonight with Kathy Hines from Student Accounting Services, Kevin Lynch from Student Employment, and David Janey, who is just off camera. He'll be helping us a bit later by queuing up your questions throughout the presentation, and then we'll take some time at the end to answer those for you. So over the course of this webinar, we're each going to present an overview of the issues students and their families typically encounter at this point in the enrollment process, so you can better anticipate what to expect, what action steps you can take, and how to avoid some common pitfalls. At this point, many students and parents may have questions about how the billing and payment process works. So to start, let's turn to Kathy, who can tell you everything you need to know about billing and payments at Boston University.
Thanks, Wyatt. So, hello, good evening, everyone. I'm Kathy Hines from Student Accounting Services, and we are the place on campus that is your resource for questions about billing and payment. And we're going to focus on the fall, and we are all looking forward to welcoming you all back, or into BU, sorry, welcoming ourselves back, I think, to campus very soon. Go ahead, Wyeth, to the next slide. So we're going to talk a little bit tonight about having a plan for payment. And for part of your plan, you need to know what is your bill, what your payment options are, and I'm going to share a few quick tips for success from what we've learned over the years that help students navigate the billing and payment at Boston University. Next slide. So first of all, you might be wondering where you can see your bill. The bill will be available electronically on the student link. And the bill is found on the student link. There are some color-coded tabs, and there is a green tab, the Money Matters tab. And if you click on that, and then on the account inquiry feature, you can display the student's bill. And go to the next slide. And here we show the menu under the Money Matters tab. For this year, the bill, we expect it to be displayed at the end of June. We're still working on getting that together for everyone, but we will definitely send a notice to students by email when the bill is ready to be viewed. We go to the next slide. When you view the bill, I want to bring to your attention that you will see a summary when you land on the page initially. You can always view full detail of all of the transactions on the bill by clicking on the blue triangle that is to the left of any item that has additional detail to drill down to. You can also see some selections on top of the summary, such as your most recent payment. You can sort the transactions, and you can enroll in a payment plan, see your account status, make a payment, or give ShareLink access or request a refund. And next slide, please. So ShareLink access is the first tip I want to let the students know about. At Boston University, the student information belongs first to the student as they enter the university. So the student needs to be able to share their information with others who might be helping them with billing and payment. So to share the information, we call it giving ShareLink access. And this allows your parents or whoever else is helping you with your billing and payment to have their own electronic view of the bill. They will also receive emails when bills are ready to be viewed. To give ShareLink access, you click on the ShareLink access link at the top of the amount due summary on the student link, and you will follow the instructions to enter the name and email address of the individual you'd like to give access to, and they will get an email allowing them to set up their ShareLink access. I want to emphasize it's very important to set up ShareLink access for those people in your life that you want to have help for billing and payment, because when you get busy and you're studying and maybe taking care of a lot of other things, those people that are assisting you can be receiving the communication from the university about billing and payment. On this slide, we'll see another way to share information with people in your family, and that is called consent to disclosure. By giving consent to disclosure, this allows your parents or others to call our office and discuss the detail of your student account. We will always speak with parents or others that are helping a student and can give general information. But if you want to just ask us questions such as, what is the amount due on the bill, if you don't have the electronic view, or you want to talk about your payment options and specifics of whether we've received a payment, that individual needs to have consent to disclosure. And again, the student is the one that has the authority to give share link access or to set up consent to disclosure. So my tip number 2 is to make sure that if you have someone that is going to be wanting to speak with individuals in the Student Accounting Services office, to make sure they have consent to disclosure. And you find that under the pink Personal tab. Click on the consent to disclosure and follow the instructions, which is entering the name and information for that individual. And next slide, please. Okay, so that was how you view your bill and how you share with others the ability to view or talk about your bill. Now, payment options. So first of all, the bill is sent, if you are attending the fall semester, we will be displaying the bill by the end of June. For the second spring semester, if you're attending that semester, your bill will be available in December. And for summer, the bill is available late in the spring. So once you see the bill and can view it, we set a payment deadline each semester. For the fall semester, the payment is due August 5th, typically. For the spring semester, it is in mid-December. And for the summer session, the bill would be due in late spring or before the summer session begins. So you may choose to pay the full amount due on the bill electronically with a US bank account. And if you do that, you just select Make a Payment from Student Account Inquiry. And your bill should show the charges for your tuition and fees, room and dining. And there is also a student health insurance plan that is charged to all students, which is Massachusetts state requirement. And if you have any prepayments, an enrollment deposit, or any loans or financial aid that are already established, you will find those as deductions on your bill. So you can make an electronic payment for whatever amount is due. If you would rather spread out payment, you can enroll in the monthly payment plan. Enrollment is open now. And when you enroll, which again, go to the student link to Student Account Inquiry, click on Payment Plan, you would make whatever down payment is required at the time of your enrollment, and there will be monthly installments from now through mid-September. To pay for the first semester, there's a payment plan which is from October through February for the spring semester, and there's also a payment plan for the summer session. Next slide. Oh. If you're an international student or have funds coming from non-US currency, we have partnered with Flywire and Western Union Business Solutions. You can enter their portal from our website at bu.edu/student accounting services, and you can enter information about the currency and amount you want to pay in US dollars, and they will give you a quote for your currency as to what you would need to pay, and they would send you instructions, and you can choose to pay by wire and some other payment methods from Flywire or Western Union Business Solutions to take care of your international payment needs. Click the next is 529 plan. Many of you may be making a portion of your payment from redemption of a 529 plan. So the way that would work is you would contact your 529 plan provider. give them information about the amount that you want to withdraw. And most of the plans pay us by paper check. So they will take some information from you. It may be online that you provide that information to your 529 plan provider, and then they will disperse the funds to Boston University later in the summer. And if you are using a 529 plan as part of your payment, you're welcome to combine that with paying the balance as a lump sum payment or enrolling in the monthly payment plan. And finally, education loan disbursements, which the financial aid office will, I think Wyatt is going to speak more about that after I'm through. So I will just mention that you can, again, combine any of these options. Many students and parents borrow and use proceeds from loans to pay part of their balance. Next slide. Oh, you can use a tip number 3. You can use a combination of any of these. Yes. All right. So again, if you want to enroll in a payment plan or simply make a one-time payment, you select the links from the student account inquiry. You will be redirected to Nelnet Business Solutions, which is our partner for payment, receipt of payment. And once you make the payment, it should show as a credit on the student account in real time so that you can keep track of whatever any remaining balance is. Also, if you enroll in a payment plan, the payment plan amount that you will be paying in the future will show as a pending deduction on the bill. Next. So I've mentioned already international payment options, and you can link to the Flywire and Western Union Business Solutions portal from our Student Accounting Services website. I would recommend that these two vendors, Flywire and Western Union Business Solutions, will quote you a rate, and they are competitive. I would recommend you check both of them for whatever currency you're interested in, and then it's up to you to choose based on the payment options they offer you and what the currency exchange is. I would recommend to check both and then utilize whichever of these companies works best for you, and you can make a different selection every time you make a payment. You don't have to set up any special account with those partners. You can choose each time you make a payment which business you would like to go through. And as I mentioned before, when is the bill due? So again, you're going to be billed for tuition, fees, room, and dining each semester. I briefly mentioned student health insurance plan, and I want to let you know that if you do have an alternate insurance that will cover you in the Boston area, or if you're going to be remote, will cover you wherever you're studying, there is an opportunity to waive the Boston University student health insurance plan, and we will be sending an email in the next couple of weeks to give you more information on that. So when you have your, we notify that the bill is due and you view it on the student link. You can make payment in full by early August, or when we say the bill is due, you need to make payment in full or enroll in the payment plan, or take care of borrowing whatever education loans you're going to be using to help finance your education. And then for the second semester, the spring bill is due in mid-December, and for the summer session, we have 2 summer sessions. If you're enrolled in the first summer session, your bill will be due early May, and the second early July. And so the next steps. So again, back to tips and how to be successful going forward. We will communicate with you on your bu.edu email. So please read that email box regularly. Also, if you want to access a student link, we have 2-factor authentication through Duo. So you should set that up if you haven't already. Also, set up your ShareLink viewers so they'll receive their own email notifications, and set up the consent to disclosure to anyone who might be contacting our office to discuss your account. And if you're going to take part in the payment plan, now is a good time to at least click on the enrollment button and look at the options for the installment payment plan. And if you are using 529 plan proceeds as part of your payment, now is the time to contact the 529 plan provider and find out about how their redemption process works. Finally, next, and choose and apply for loans. So again, we're your resource for billing and payment questions. We're here to help all through the next few weeks for the summer and into the fall, and there's our contact information. And I will now pass it over to Wyatt for information on financial assistance.
Thank you, Kathy. Now, often when thinking about your bill, an important first step is considering what expenses you'll have over the course of the year. Some of you may have financial aid, however, some of you may not. But even if you do, you'll likely have some sort of additional expense, whether it be a portion of your tuition, books and supplies, or even day-to-day costs of living away from home. So either way, whether you have financial aid or not, many of you may be thinking, what is the best way to cover the portion of the cost that I'm responsible for paying? When thinking about that, the first question we like to ask is, what's your plan? So looking at that a little bit deeper, you're going to need a plan not just for your first semester, but also for the following semesters that you will attend while at Boston University. We refer to this as your four-year plan, and we hope some of the information that we include here tonight can help you develop not only a four-year plan, but a specific plan that is tailored to your circumstances and works specifically for your family. In some cases, you may have savings and be able to pay for all or part of your expenses from the money that you've saved over the years. Kathy also mentioned the payment plan, which can help you budget payments monthly for all or part of the cost. Additionally, there are credit-based educational loans. These are available to extend your payment over 10 to 15 years, just as you might do for other large purchases. For educational loans, you can start your research on our financial assistance website. We provide guidance on how to select a lender, how to identify a loan, and how to look when you're looking at loans for the features and the terms that best meet your particular needs and kind of the payment style that would work for your family. We also use ELM Select to list credit-based loans in a way that makes side-by-side comparisons really easy. One important thing to know is that you can select any loan, whether it's listed on our website or not, and we recommend that families actually look at multiple loan options just so they're sure that they're being offered the best rates and terms that work for them specifically. If you haven't already, I would also definitely recommend checking out our 4 Steps Brochure, which can be found on our website under the same link that's listed on screen right now. Outside of tuition, you'll also need a plan for paying for out-of-pocket expenses. For these expenses, a monthly budget can help you build a good plan for spending your money wisely. While a budget may not sound super exciting, when it comes to money for laundry, toothpaste, pizza, or Red Sox tickets, which is what I spent all of my money on, we think it's best to keep it simple because those little things can add up really fast, and that's an additional expense that you might have throughout your time at BU. We'll talk later about how Smart Money 101 can help you be smart about how you're managing and spending your money. But first, Kevin's going to talk to us about how to put more money in your pocket with student employment.
Thanks, Wyeth. Hi, everybody. Welcome to BU. Congratulations. My name is Kevin Lynch. I'm a representative for student employment. And today I'm just going to talk about working while attending BU. So what types of jobs are available, how to find a job, as well as some of the benefits, aside from getting a paycheck, available to students who work during their time here at BU. So first, I just want to say that any student who wants to work can work. Many departments on campus will hire students this fall to work, and if that's not enough, the City of Boston is going to be at your fingertips. Employers regularly use our listing services to recruit BU students for employment. Go to the next slide. How to go ahead and find a job. So again, it's going to be on Student Link. What you want to do is go to the Work tab on your Student Link. There you're going to find 2 types of jobs. One is called Quick Jobs. Those are going to be one-time or short-term jobs, and I'll go into detail of that in a minute. And the other are going to be called part-time jobs, which we call job board listings. These are jobs that will be located both on and off campus. And then finally, we have a category for students who have been awarded work study as part of their financial aid package. We have work study jobs. So these are all primarily located on campus, although sometimes there are a few off-campus jobs available as well when it comes to work study. So next slide, please. Okay, so the job for you. So as you can imagine, with such a large and diverse community that makes up both BU and the city of Boston, you can find a job doing almost anything once you start here in the fall. On campus, most departments hire students, so you can work almost anywhere in the library, dining halls, various offices around campus. Off-campus jobs are available throughout the greater Boston area, and it's possible to find a job related to your career interests as well. We also have many alumni employers looking specifically for BU students. Quick jobs are odd jobs, and they can include anything from yard work to virtual tutoring to babysitting. With quick jobs, there's always a lot of options. If it's a job that you just want to pick up, just for a short period of time, that could be for a few hours or a week, then quick jobs would be the way to go for that. Next slide, please. So for international students may work, but only on campus unless you've received specific off-campus employment authorization from ISSO. International students with work authorizations may seek positions through either the part-time job listings or the quick job listings. But again, you are limited to on-campus employment. For further information in regards to working while you attend BU here for international students, I would go ahead and reach out to ISSO directly. And of course, you can always email us if you have any questions as well. Next slide. So there are a few forms that you're going to have to fill out before you begin work at BU in the fall, or if working while you're at BU in the fall. One of the most important forms, however, is going to be the Form I-9. So if this is a form that is going to establish your eligibility to work here in the United States. In the fall, what you want to do is bring identification with you to fill out your Form I-9. With that said, we also will have a remote way of also filling out the second part of the I-9. Usually what a student will bring will be an unexpired passport, a driver's license and social security card, or a driver's license and a birth certificate. They have to be original documents. We can't accept copies. But again, with campus being closed for the interim, we are going to be setting up virtual meetings where you'll be able to show this documentation to us before you get here on campus, so we can get that taken care of for you. So next slide, important slide, getting paid. Getting paid for the work you're doing. All jobs are going to be listed at the Massachusetts minimum wage of $12.75 an hour or higher, usually. On campus, part-time jobs will usually start between $12.75 and about $15 an hour. And quick jobs will average between $14 and $16 an hour. Quick job employers usually are going to pay cash at the conclusion of a job. So if you're doing yard work for a family who live down the street from BU campus, usually you'll go ahead and negotiate and get paid cash before or after you do the job. If you work on campus, we use direct deposit, which you can sign up for online on the student link. And what you want to do is use a bank account of your choice, checkings or savings, either here, a bank back home, or a bank in Boston. Next slide. So another question too is, should you work? And the answer is yes. You'll need some extra income for those expenses that you'll have, as Wyatt kind of alluded to earlier. Things like order takeout, having a Netflix or Hulu account, pay for your cell phone, getting a T-Pass. There's also many museums, tours, and events in the city of Boston. So just on a real practical level, and to really make the most of your time here at BU financially, it is good to work, and I say yes. Next slide, please. So another thing is, how do I fit work into my schedule? Of course, fitting a job in your already packed schedule can be a little overwhelming at first. But we have a lot of work options that will be available that can make this part much easier. Again, we have part-time jobs that you can take advantage of, quick jobs that you can take advantage of. Supervisors here, especially on campus, know that school comes first, and they're very flexible about scheduling. If you're not ready to commit to a weekly work schedule, again, we do have quick jobs. And then there are also basics of finding a job and working while attending BU as well. Other things, benefits about working, not just getting a paycheck. On-campus student employment opportunities are really good in regards to building a mentorship. So students who participate in student employee programs, such as the Federal Work Study Program, it's been shown they're more likely to complete their bachelor's degree and are more likely to be employed after finishing school than similar non-participants. On-campus jobs can increase a student's self-esteem and better prepare them for job interviews. And you can really build a strong mentor relationship with the faculty, the staff, your supervisors, and your fellow workmates. Cool. I think I went a little bit over my slides here. So if you want to just go to the last slide, Wyeth. Yeah, that one I talked about already, thanks. And this is just to contact us. So that's just a real snapshot of what we do here at Student Employment. I know that you probably have tons of other questions, so feel free to email us, to call us as well. Here is all our contact information. We do post jobs that are available as well on our Facebook and Twitter account regularly. So definitely go ahead and look on there and give us a call and email us if you have any further questions. And look out for your email as well in regard to news about hiring events and when jobs will be posted beginning in the fall semester. Thanks.
Thanks, Kevin. So now that we've talked about how to earn money while on campus, we can talk some more about our resources on how to better manage the money that you've earned. Smart Money 101 is our financial wellness program and offers all BU students opportunities to learn more about managing personal finances. So if you go to our website, it's filled with resources on topics ranging from how to make a budget to avoiding scholarship scams and identity theft. You can also learn more about credit cards, credit scores, as well as tips to prepare for repaying your student loans when you're kind of more towards the tail end of your time at BU. We also do free workshops on campus on many of these topics throughout the year, so you can dig in a little deeper and learn alongside other students who are kind of also learning this stuff as well. Some of the workshops we did last year included understanding your paycheck, student loan repayment, credit report forensics, and summer working. We've also done workshops on how to pick a bank that's right for you, finding the right credit card, all sorts of stuff throughout the year. So definitely keep an eye out for those if you're interested. BU also offers Cash Course as well, which is a comprehensive online financial literacy learning platform where you can basically create your own account and learn from videos, try out their customizable budget wizard, among many of the other resources that they offer. We also maintain an active Twitter page where we post comments, links to news articles, guidance on money management, and other helpful tips. At the bottom of the screen, you can see one example of effectively managing your BU convenience points. Feel free to follow us at BU Smart Money 101 and stay up to date on workshops and more helpful tips throughout the year. So at this time, we'd like to thank everyone again. We'll now try and respond to as many of the questions you had as time allows. If we're unable to get to any of your questions, please don't hesitate to call or email us at any of the contacts we listed throughout this presentation. We'd be happy to get back to you as quickly as possible. David, do we have any questions lined up?
Wyeth, we have questions.
Great.
For Kathy, there are a number of questions about the health insurance in terms of when they'll get the information, what the process is for waiving, what if they already have insurance to their family, what is the criteria for whether it qualifies or not.
Great questions. And the Student Health Services at Boston University hosts a webpage that has something called the Decision Guide, and they do send that out electronically, and that is a tool to help you decide whether to keep the enrollment in the university student health insurance or to waive it. And you'll be sent more information on that through the summer. So I know for our purposes, the big question is probably, should I waive the insurance? Is the insurance I have good enough? And in very general terms, you have to think about where are you going to be? If you're coming to Boston, here's a typical scenario. Sometimes you might be covered under your parents' insurance, but the provider network is only good, it's not good in Boston. The providers are all in this other area where you're living now. So you need to think about where you are going to be studying and whether the providers for your health insurance are available in Boston. And the second thing to point out is if you're international, you need to have a United States-based major health insurance plan in order to waive the university insurance. So if you're international, I would recommend that you consider that you will be enrolled in the University Student Health Insurance. I know there are a lot more questions about health insurance, but again, we will be sending links, email with links to a lot of the information on the plan benefits and your option for waiving. There is an open enrollment period through September 20th. So we have time going into the weeks ahead for you to look at that information and find out about the waiver process. And I will say waiving is done electronically through the student link, and you'll click to a website with our partner Gallagher Student Health. You will put in information about your health insurance that your alternate health insurance that you want to use to waive the university health insurance. Gallagher Student Health actually will audit the information and verify that that coverage is acceptable for waiving, and then they will notify you whether your waiver has been approved or not. So that's the process, and that will be going forward in the weeks ahead until September 20th when the open enrollment period ends.
Okay, we've got a lot of questions. Probably the second most popular from my casual scan of them, there are over 200 at this point, has to do with the monthly payment plan. One, is there interest charged? Is there a fee? If so, how much is the fee? And when does it start? And when will they get information about it?
Okay, so information about the payment plan was sent to first-year students last week. Enrollment is ongoing now. The enrollment fee is $35 per semester. That is the current enrollment fee. These things are always, that's the current enrollment fee for fall 2020. And there is no interest charged. It is what's called a budget plan, meaning you're breaking your payment plan into monthly installments, but they're not lending you any money, so there's no interest. And if you are not making the payments, then the payments do not get advanced to the university. So the way the payment plan works, you will provide bank information and the installments will be pulled from the bank account based on the information you provide. The payment plan can be, the amount of your payment plan can be any amount you choose. So you would go to the student link, click on student account inquiry, click on payment plan, and you will be brought to the Nelnet website where you will be presented with enrollment and what is called a budget worksheet. And right now the budget worksheet is filled in with the standard tuition and fee charges for the university for a full-time undergraduate student. You can make changes to any of those if you have usually on the credit side. So the charges will be the standard charges. You can type in any credit prepayment amounts you have, or you can enroll in a payment plan for less than the amount due. It's up to you. It's based on what you want to pay per month, and then some families do a payment plan for part of what they owe, and then they look at credit-based loans for an additional part, depending on how much you have in current funds available to make monthly payments.
Excellent. Probably, let's see, more questions. Question about federal loans. When do I start applying for them?
So for federal loans, there are a couple different types. The first would be the federal direct loan, which is the government-backed student loans. So those, if you've submitted your FAFSA already, you can send an email to the financial aid office and request to have your eligibility added to your account. For most students, we don't award the loans up front, so all you have to do is ask us to add those and we can put those on. Alternatively, the government also offers a Parent Plus loan, which is the kind of a similar government-backed loan, but in parents' names. For that, you would also apply through our office. We definitely recommend kind of looking at that process over the next month or so, just to have everything processed before the payment deadline. Generally, they take 2 or 3 weeks to process, so the sooner you get us the application, the sooner we can start running all of those. For private loans as well, you definitely would want to start applying within the next few weeks. Definitely look around at a couple different options, see what works best for you. With private loans, you would apply not through us, but through the private loan lender's website usually, and then they would send it to us. So you have a little bit of an additional step there. So the earlier you start looking, the better, and then maybe think about applying right at the beginning of July. So that gives us basically about a month so everything can be taken care of before the payment deadline.
Right. A couple of questions about 529 plans. Basically just asking, what are they and how do they work?
I guess I'll take that one. 529 plans are a savings vehicle that is done before the student. It's investment savings vehicle done in the years before a student would need to access the funds. And they can be used for a number of different things, but they're popularly used to pay college tuition bills. So there are families who might have these 529 plan investments and want to now redeem them for the student who is entering college.
Okay. A couple of questions about will a recording of this webinar be available after the event? And we will have it posted. It'll be, if you go to the home page of the financial assistance homepage and pop up the button near the bottom of the screen that's just admitted to BU, it will be in that section. Let's see. Lots of questions about any fees associated with the payment plan. Health insurance, payment plans due. Is it possible to pay through a wire transfer from a U.S. bank account?
Not direct, no.
Mm-hmm.
So wire transfer can be done internationally through Flywire or Western Union Business Solutions. If you have a U.S. bank account, you would click on make a payment and enter the bank account information to pay with an ACH payment.
It's a question probably for Wyeth. If I have a scholarship, how do I find out the difference in payment that I need to pay?
Yeah, definitely. So in the next few weeks, we'll be sending out the bills, and you'll kind of see what the difference is. Right now, if you'd like to look at basically the cost of attendance, you would want to look at what our billed expenses are. So the tuition, the fees, and the room and board, and you could subtract the amount of your scholarship and your aid from that amount to kind of see what your bill would be. If you go on the student link under Money Matters, you'll see the account inquiry tab, and that is where kind of all of your award, your charges, everything will be listed, and it'll be totaled down at the bottom for you. But that's a little bit of a way you can kind of begin to estimate that now while you wait for your bill.
Let's see. Also, will scholarships be directly sent to the university from third parties be deducted from the bill if received before the bill is displayed? What happens if the scholarship arrives at Boston University after the bill is already paid?
So I'll answer that. I think that's almost a two-part. So the first part, if an outside award is received at the university, we will post it to the bill. The bill is updated constantly all summer. So when we send the email to say the bill is ready, whatever we receive by then, by late June, you can see, but through the summer, as we receive items, we will post them to the bill. And then I don't know if financial aid wants to talk about.
Yeah, definitely. So with third parties, sponsorships and scholarships especially, a lot of times what they'll do is they will send you an award letter before they actually send us the check for the money. So if you'd like, you can send us the award letter, and we can basically post an anticipated award to your account so that it'll reflect that that's something that we're expecting to be receiving. Generally, it'll say for the fall semester or the fall and the spring. So that's kind of how we go about doing that. If you do anticipate that they're going to be sending it later, but you have the award letter, go ahead and send it to financial aid, and we can see if we can update your account that way.
Just questions about the e-bill. Email, is it sent to the student or the parent for the bill due? And whoops, jumped around on me. And waiver of health insurance, where does that go to?
So,
To the student? Is it to their personal email or their BU account?
okay, it goes first all to the student to their bu.edu email account. The student can add ShareLink viewers using whatever preferred email that ShareLink viewer, which is usually a family member or parent of the student, and that ShareLink viewer will also get an email. So I'll repeat because I know we're getting that question a lot. So that's for the bill. For the student health insurance waiver, again, the student will get the email. And then any ShareLink viewer they have set up by the time we send that email will also get that email. But that's just an email. So if you know you're viewing this webinar with us now, you can go into the student link. The student can go into the link. They can view their bill when they're ready. The bill is not viewable yet. It will be at the end of June. Also, student health insurance waiver, we hope to have that available shortly before the bill is ready. So we're talking, again, end of June, late next week, or the beginning of the following week, which is around June 30th. So the student health insurance waiver and the electronic bill, you don't need to have received the email to take those actions or view them. The email is just a prompt to let you know they're out there. So the email goes to the student and to whoever the student sets up as a ShareLink viewer, but the email is just a reminder. You can log into the student link if you're the student, or into your ShareLink view if you've been given access, and see the bill. For student health insurance, only the student can do the waiver. If they're under 18, their parent, there's a room for the student to enter in the parent information for approval, but only the student can originate the student health insurance waiver.
Okay. If the only thing left on my financial aid checklist, this would be the MyBU portal. If the only thing left listed there on the checklist is the student income verification, and I've already used the IRS DRT when I completed my FAFSA, do I have to do anything else?
Yes. So basically how it works is the IRS data retrieval only sends us a limited amount of data, kind of 8 or 9 fields, which is enough for us to use at the beginning. But then after kind of you've been admitted and we're looking to do what we call our confirmation process, which is to confirm your tentative award. At that point, we do request that families send us tax returns for the appropriate year, along with their W-2s and business schedules. So if you do see that requirement, then you do have that additional step that you still need to take to complete that process. If you do have any questions, you can call our office to figure out exactly what form we still need. And then we can also tell you anything else we need to kind of finalize your award in that process.
Okay, for BU employees, is there a tuition remission application form?
Yes, it's online. So if you go to BU Works from the employee, my brain is losing the word. Whether the employee functions, you can go to benefits and tuition remission. You do an online application, and then once it's approved, that credit will appear on the student account. It will all happen electronically.
If I've rented a micro fridge for the year and select to be charged through my student account instead of my credit card, will that money come from a loan/scholarship I have already received?
So that might be a student account and financial aid answer. So from student accounting services, if you purchase a microfridge, my understanding is you can either pay for it directly through the portal, or you can have it charged to your student account. If you have the charge for the microfridge put on your student account, that will appear in September, and it will be included with whatever charges are there. So any payments or financial aid would help to be able to pay that. If you pay directly, if you purchase it directly, then you would have to be able to make the payment on, I assume it would be by credit card.
Yeah, and I'll kind of follow up on that. How we really look at it and how financial aid and loans and everything interact with your student account is it's basically one balance at the end. So we kind of have it all together, and then your financial aid, loans, any sources of kind of aid towards your account, just subtract from that total account balance. And so how we really set it up is we understand that there are expenses kind of above just the tuition, room and board, and the fees that students pay while at BU. So our kind of the total amount of aid you can have can be larger than what the bill is. So if you do have these additional expenses, you have a little bit of room there if you do want to take maybe an additional loan, something to cover those books and supplies, a fridge, any of those other additional expenses, you do have the ability to do that if you want. A lot of students might use the federal direct loans for that, just to give them a little extra money in their pocket to pay for things outside of their tuition and fees.
Okay. Hey, Kevin, I've got one for you. If I'm eligible for work study, how do I find a job and how many hours would I work?
Excellent questions. So finding a job is, like I said, on Student Link. The job service board will be open to incoming first years, I think in August, where hopefully there'll be a choice of jobs both on and off campus. It's BU university policy that is student only work up to 20 hours per week. If a student has federal work study, they are mandated only working 20 hours per week during the school year. During intersession in the summer, they of course can work up to 40 hours a week. International students also fall under that same rubric. During the school year, they're only able to work 20 hours per week. And in the summer, based on their visa status, they can work up to 40. Again, hopefully jobs will begin to get posted in August. So we will definitely be sending out emails once that happens, and we'll go ahead and we'll open up the job board to all first-year students.
Here's a 529 question, a little more specific. All my daughter's tuition will be paid by 529. Can the 529 provider pay BU directly? If not, can you break down the steps for using the 529 in more detail?
So that 529 plan provider should have instructions for you to tell them that to disperse funds, and it's usually dispersed as a paper check, so you would be just telling them the amount and where to mail the check. And I can say that our street address is 881 Commonwealth Avenue in Boston, but it's you can look online too. That information is available to provide for sending the check. But I assume each 529 plan provider has their own redemption process, so the university is not directly involved in that.
Okay. If my aid includes an SEO and a Pell Grant, those are federal grants, will these go towards my first semester tuition?
Yep, so basically how that works, you'll see an amount for the fall and the spring, and those amounts will just go to your student account balance. So it'll kind of be added into that total number that'll be subtracted from your bill. So you'll have an amount for the fall, and that'll subtract from your fall balance, and an amount for the spring, and that'll subtract from your spring balance. So it'll kind of go to the combination of your tuition, room and board, and kind of other associated fees.
What does student employment at BU, or how does student employment at BU work with students who are on federal work study? Wide open question.
Yeah, that's a pretty wide open question. I'll try to be as succinct as possible. And then of course, any follow-ups, you can definitely reach out to us. So federal work study, as you may or may not know, is part of your financial aid award package. You should know by now, and correct me if I'm wrong, that whether or not you have federal work study. I think those awards have been sent out. If you want to appeal that decision, you would just go ahead and reach out to a representative in financial aid. Once you receive the federal work study award, That's where we come into the picture, again, with job postings, mostly on campus, that you would go ahead and pretty much look for jobs and apply for jobs and interview for jobs, just like you would any other regular job hunt. We'll be there, of course, to assist you, but you'd look online, you would see jobs on campus that you're interested in, send your resume. If you don't have a resume, that's okay. We know a lot of students, really don't have that much work experience yet. And then just go from there and hopefully find a job that suits your interests. And if you need any help, you're just reach out to us as soon as you can. I know that's a pretty high level answer in regards to how Federal Work Study works, but if you want to if you have any specific questions, definitely reach out to us.
Let's see. When can we start applying for fall semester jobs as a non-work studies freshman?
Good question. Yeah, so those jobs will also be available beginning in August. You will be able to go ahead and find those jobs where you were able to also find the Federal Work Study jobs. So they'll be on Student Link and then Work Tab and then part-time job listings. There'll be a series of categories like childcare, researcher, tutoring, retail, and you can just go through each one of those to see what jobs are available there. And that's going to be for both off-campus and for on-campus positions. So I'm going to say about the first week of August, those jobs should be available to you.
If we received a grant/scholarship from BU, will our bill be adjusted already for it, just showing what we owe?
Yes. So you'll see that amount, whether you've kind of completed the confirmation process or not. You'll see it pending to your account. So you'll see kind of what your balance will be at the end there with your aid taken into account.
What banks do you think students should register for an account with in the Boston area so that it's convenient for them, international students as well? Any takers for that question?
I think it would take a little bit of research on your part, I would say. With that said, and this is in no way endorsing any banks, just from me living in the city for a long time, I see there's a lot of Bank of America ATMs around, so it'd be easier to deposit checks, get money. Actually, in our building, 881 Com Ave, there is a Bank of America ATM in the basement level. So that's a pretty convenient bank, I think, within the city. But again, that's going to be totally your choice. I would definitely go ahead and do some research about what bank would be best for your needs. So I don't know if anybody else has anything to add to that.
Yeah, banks that are common in the area are Bank of America, Citizens, Santander.
I think a Chase just opened up across the street.
So there are many, and online banking changes, I think, maybe the definition of what convenient is, depending on, what is available in your area. So it may be helpful to look at what banks are available commonly in your area and what banks are available commonly in the Boston area. And if you've got some that are both, then that's probably not a bad answer for you. But a good place to start is probably with the bank where you currently do business and see if they have branches in the Boston area or what kind of service they have to offer in the Boston area. You may have answered this already, Kevin, but when will Quick Jobs be available? Currently, it says that I'm not eligible for the Student Employment Service. I'm thinking.
Yeah. So that, like, part-time jobs will open up to incoming first-year students probably the first week of August. Quick Jobs and part-time jobs.
So the message they're getting before they open up is you're not eligible to get to this part of the site because it's not open yet?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So you are eligible, it's just not open yet.
Okay. There seem to be a number of people who have made that effort, which is good to know that they're anxious and interested in trying. So.
Oh yeah, we're anxious to help, so we can't wait to open. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. We have time for a few more questions. You may have answered this, Kathy, but a number of people are asking about how much the enrollment fee is for the monthly payment plan. Oh, I think you're muted.
Whoops. Sorry about that. I was typing answers and I didn't want to distract. The enrollment fee is $35. And when you enroll, and so I'll say a little more because I can see some of the other questions out there. You can, plan enrollment is open now. If you don't know how much to enroll for, there is what's called a budget worksheet that shows standard charges for the fall. So you do your best to use that. And then when you can see your actual bill, you can make an adjustment. When you enroll, there's a $35 enrollment fee. You will provide bank account information from a US bank. That $35 enrollment fee will be paid as well as the down payment, which is currently 20% of your full plan amount. After June 20th, the down payment's going to go to 40% and it will increase throughout the summer. You can enroll in the payment plan as late as August 5th. And then so at August 5th, you'd be paying 60%, and then there's an August installment and a September installment. So I'm seeing questions about how to know how much to enroll for. You can increase and decrease the plan if your amount was not, if you change your mind about the amount in the future. But there is no interest because it's not a loan. You are deciding how much you are going to be able to have as your monthly installment. And again, you can use payment plan and make other direct payments or credit-based loans or other financial aid that come into the picture with your individual circumstance.
There's one person that has a question about convenience points. Can you explain what BU convenience points are, maybe how they work?
Me or Wyatt
Yeah,
can
it's
go
a
on.
general question, but convenience points are basically points that you charge to your account that are available from your Terrier card and you can use at different shops and restaurants all over campus. So let's say you wanted to, it's like a preloaded charge card. So you would add maybe 200 convenience points to your card, which would be about $200. And then at all of the city convenience shops, the Citycos, or if you go to some of the dining halls with the kind of food court style, you can use those convenience points to pay instead of using your debit card or having cash. Also, some of the restaurants around have it set up with BU where they'll accept those. I know Domino's does it. So you can kind of load your card for the month and then use that instead of paying from your bank account or with cash for the month. Sometimes too, parents will use it if they want to have an allotment of a certain amount per month for their kids to spend. They may give them 100 convenience points a month or something like that. So you can structure it kind of however you want to do it.
Thank you. There's how would you recommend to start financially planning for a study abroad semester? Someone thinking ahead.
Yeah, so the most important thing with study abroads is you would want to look at what the cost is for each study abroad program. BU has a lot of study abroad programs and they can really differ. Some of them can be a lot cheaper than a semester at BU and others can be a little bit more expensive depending on what the abroad program you want to do is. So an important thing to look at is the cost of the program you want to attend, and they have breakdowns of the budget and what your award for financial aid is. If you have financial aid, you definitely want to make sure if there would be any changes due to a lower cost or if it will pay for it. You can set up an appointment with your assistant director to kind of go over that and just see if there are any implications. Another important thing about study abroad programs is depending on the program, certain programs may have more out-of-pocket expenses. You may need to buy a plane ticket out of kind of your own pocket and then get there, or you may need to budget money to pay for food while you're there because you are in an apartment with a kitchen rather than having a dining hall. So every program basically has a different set of associated costs and kind of what is responsible for the student and what is included in the student's bill. So the answer differs really depending on the program. So as soon as you think you might be interested in a certain one, come have a conversation with us and we can kind of go through all the details with you so that you can really plan ahead for that.
I think we have time for maybe one more question. I'm looking at one about what should we do to accept federal loans? Is there a deadline? Do we have to do anything through BU or BU's website?
So basically, if you already see the loans on your account, those have already been granted to you. So the steps you would need to take is to complete the entrance counseling if you're a first-time borrower at BU, and also the master promissory note, which is the agreement to repay the loan. Those are 2 steps you would take through the federal website, so the studentaid.gov website. And those are required for you to retain those loans, but if you already see them in your award, then you've already been awarded them your eligibility for that year. If you don't see them, you can email us as long as we have a FAFSA for this year. We can award you your eligibility for your current grade level. As far as a deadline goes, I would recommend the payment deadline be a good deadline, but we can do them throughout the semester. So if you decide a little bit later, maybe in the fall, that you have some additional expenses and you might want to use a portion of your loan or all of it, we can add it throughout the semester. There is basically a deadline for the entire year, so we can't award federal loans after the enrollment period ends. So if May passes and maybe next July you want to have loans for this past year, we wouldn't be able to do it at that point. But as long as you kind of start the process and we are able to get them on your account before the school year ends or the semester ends, then we can do it throughout that whole thing. So generally it takes a few weeks to process them, especially right now. So let us know early and kind of begin that process. But all you would have to do is have a FAFSA and email us to start it.
Okay, I think we're just about up at time.
Great. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us. I know it's been kind of a crazy summer so far, but if you have additional questions that we weren't able to answer right now, please give us a call or an email to all of our offices and we can follow up with you more directly about that. The presentation will also be available online, as David mentioned, so feel free to kind of come back here to find those emails or contacts if you need that as well.
Welcome to BU, everyone.
All right, have a good night, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.